Hey everybody, we're back for another action figure review. This time we're taking a look at the build-a-figure of Captain America, the Red Skull Onslaught Wave. We just finished reviewing all of the figures from the wave. Pretty decent wave, I have to say. Taskmaster, Scourge, and Captain America was pretty much some of my favorites there. I think they were my favorites. I ended up keeping those, and I got rid of the rest of the wave. I didn't really feel much for the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. figures. Whirlwind was okay, and Cottonmouth it's decent, but you know, I think Scourge and Taskmaster really stood out in this wave, and I think that Captain America has a very good classic look to it. That you know, it looks very nice in my opinion, and I really enjoyed that one. But anyways, here are all the build-a-figure pieces separately. They're together, but they were separate. And it's time to build the Onslaught here. So let's go ahead and start it out with the. I'll also start with the upper torso. Start with the arms here. So I'm gonna put the right arm in there, so that snaps in there, and then put the left arm, and that snaps as well. So that looks good. Then we want to put these shoulder guards, and there's some peg holes for that. And just peg that in, easy. So that makes it look a lot bigger too. And let's go for the legs. That's pretty much all that's left. That's well, let's take that off for now. Just turn the leg there, and then put the other one in. For Onslaught, and it looks like it's in there. I didn't hear a snap, but sometimes they don't really snap in. So there are the legs. He's a pretty big figure, honestly. Once you put the legs on, really stands a little bit taller. Now for the head, last but not least. And there you have it. So I lied. The last piece wasn't the head. It was actually this little back piece that pegs right into the back. And this actually is a separate piece because it came with Captain America, so I guess this counts as a build-a-figure piece as well. So there we go, now he's complete. Alright, and there is Onslaught fully complete. He's a pretty tall figure, I have to say. He's not the biggest figure, of course. I mean, he's not that huge. There's Demolition Man right next to him. He's a 6-inch figure, so you want to say he's about a 8 to 9-inch build-a-figure right there. So pretty cool, pretty decent figure. He's pretty hefty, especially when you put these shoulder pads on, or the shoulder guards. They look really cool there. I can tell that's going to hinder the arm, though, quite a lot. But overall, it's a pretty nice looking build-a-figure. It's not a lot of paint here. It's pretty much all plastic. Paint-wise, I can see it's a few shadings, black wash here and there, and then, of course, the head sculpt is painted. But overall, it's just red and purple plastic. Taking a bit of a closer look at him, you can see how that red plastic really shows. It's not really paint. Here's the back of the figure. There's the little back piece, and with the shading you can see right there on the leg and on the bicep, more so on the back of the leg and right there in between the thighs. And that's about it. Everything else is just plastic. Doesn't come with any alternate heads. I know a lot of people are putting Magneto heads on here, and apparently the X-Men wave will come with a Magneto head that you can put on here, which is pretty cool that they're actually even doing that. As for articulation, let's take a look. This head was actually harder than I thought to put on. When I showed in the video, it wasn't in all the way, and I finally put it in off camera. So he's hard to turn, but you turn left and right, and that's about it. It gets hindered once you get to that point, and then it's on that hinge, but I mean, it's really hard to make it look up. There he is. That's about as much as you're gonna get him to look up. Looking down, not at all, because of that. Of course, the armor. These are kind of articulated a little bit, not too much. So the arms, actually, I mean, it doesn't really hinder it too bad. Forward and back there, in about that much. And now, of course, more movement once you take this off. It's gonna look weird. Upper bicep swivel. We have a single joint to the elbow. The gauntlets are movable right here as well. It doesn't really do anything, but they are movable. It's a hinged wrist that swivels. We have a diaphragm joint on the, of course, the abdominal area. No waist swivel. The legs go forward and back, in and out. Upper thigh swivel, double jointed knees, which is awesome. And we have the ankle going forward and back, and it has a slight ankle pivot, ankle rocker, but not too crazy, not too much. You won't see any significant difference there. You're trying to articulate it. This back piece is movable as well. So that's pretty much all Onslaught comes with. There's no accessories, there's no nothing. This is just it right here. So I know they've been giving accessories to build figures lately, but this one does not have one. Pretty good figure, pretty big figure. He's hefty. The paint is not all there, so I wouldn't give paint a good rating. You know, it's, I guess if they could paint the red instead of having plastic, they could have. Whatever. The head sculpt came out really nice. I like the head sculpt. Everything else is decent sculpt. It's just there's no paint. If you can live with that, then this should be no problem with you. It's a pretty tall figure, so that's pretty good. About 9 or 8 inches, I want to say. Not as big as Giant Man, but he's probably a little bit shorter than him by an inch. Articulation is decent for what I thought it would be. He is filled with armor. I thought these would really hinder it. It does hinder it slightly, but you can still move it. They made these little gaps here so you can put the bicep through there. So that works out really well. The legs are pretty decent too. So overall, it's a decent Build-A-Figure. It's not an amazing, crazy, oh my gosh Build-A-Figure, but it's pretty cool to have. And I would give it a decent B-, I guess you can say, if I was gonna rate it. Overall, it's decent, and I think it's pretty cool, you know. It's Hasbro, so you're not gonna get too crazy amount of details, but they could have done it, could have added some paint to it instead of being a little lazy like they always are. You know, could have added some paint instead of just having plain old plastic. The little details count, you know. That pretty much is it. That concludes my review on the Onslaught Red Skull Build-A-Figure. Hope you guys enjoyed the review. Please leave a like, comment, subscribe. You guys have a great day. Bye.